Hi everybody, welcome back. So today we're going to be looking at the difference between cross stitch and punch needle, and can they be used interchangeably. So I've done some reading on this, and I think there is a way that it can be done interchangeably, but I'm not sure if you'll be able to use the same threads. So let's look at each one individually first. We'll have a look at the cross stitch first. So I've done cross stitch before. I'm by no means an expert. Let's get this out. For me, it is very it's very therapeutic. So here we have a whole bunch of things here. There's needles, there is a thread picker, there is a thread cutter. I'm not 100% sure what this is. We're going to have a look at that. And then I think that's for your finger so you don't stab yourself. They also have all of the threads nicely arranged here, which is really cool. So it's got the different numbers, which will obviously correspond with your numbers on the side. So we have some needles in there as well. That is pretty cute. So this is a 48 by 24 centimeters. So it's not tiny, but it's also not huge. I'm actually really excited to do it. I think I might finish this. Obviously not in this video, but I think I might finish this. This is exciting. So it says 11 CT, use three strands to stitch. So we're going to have to figure this out quickly. So here obviously is a picture of what we will be doing, so you can see everything. Okay, so let's have a look at our instructions. So how to choose strands. It says a thread can be divided into 6 strands. 11 CT uses 3 strands to stitch. 14 CT uses 2 strands to stitch. This is like a, what do you call it? Like a tongue twister. So how to choose the thread color. Obviously you're going to read the symbols or numbers. So let's have a look here. So what they've done is they've used sort of symbols, if you will. So let's look at the first one. The first one is kind of like a square that's only half colored. So that's like your wings. So on that it says number 1, and your DMC code is 209. So here, this is number 1. So that is it 1? Yes, 1. So that is the color that would be the wings, is this sort of purpley color. So if you have a look at your picture, you can see this is actually a sort of purple color. It's not the red that is your symbol. Okay, so that's how you're going to choose them basically. You're going to have a look at the pattern that is reflected. So here, it's kind of a mixture. So you have the solid reds, you have the yellow, you have the sort of half square thing. So you would look at the pattern that is reflected. You would look at your, what is this thing called? It's called something. Anyway, let's move on. So you're going to obviously read the symbol, find the corresponding number from the column of full stitches, and you're going to choose the right color here. Okay, then the next thing is on an unprinted cloth. You would read the symbol from paper or drawing, so that's where you would use this. So this one's been printed. What I like about this is if you are more advanced, you can actually do this one, and then you've got a pattern. So literally there's your pattern if you wanted to do it again, which is super cool. Okay, so you would obviously do the same thing on an unprinted cloth, except you would work off of this and not this, because this would not be printed. So it then tells you how to stitch the unprinted cloth, which we're not going to do because we're not doing that, obviously. It also has your embroidery descriptions. It has a whole stitch, it has a half stitch, it has a quarter stitch, a 3/4 stitch, continuous back stitch, cast off, and French knots. That is a lot of information for me. To be honest, I'm not so great with that. So it says no outside frame. Keep your hands clean before stitching. To make embroidery easier, the color on the printed cloth uses contrast colors, which is different from the color of the real design, which is great. I like that. As printed cross stitch, the pattern has been printed on the cloth. So before finishing stitching, the cloth cannot touch water, otherwise the printed part will be gone. As unprinted cross stitch, no pattern printed on the cloth. So that's actually really cool. So it looks like you can actually wash this afterwards and your sort of old design will disappear. Again, I'm not sure. I've never done a cross stitch on this scale. Like when I was younger, we've done little ones, but I've never done something on this scale before. Cleaning and maintenance. After finishing the whole pattern, put cloth in water below 30 degrees Celsius for more than 3 hours till all the pattern disappears. Wash it with clean water again. Okay, so that is your answer. Dry it by leaving it flat in a ventilated place in order to protect the threads from being damaged. Please iron the artwork on the back of the fabric with a steam flat iron until it becomes flat. Huh. Okay, so the only thing I'm confused on is how do I know which stitches to use? That's the only thing I don't know. I'm assuming that everything for this one would be a whole stitch. I'm assuming. So that's the only part I'm not sure on. Super confusing for me because I haven't done this. So here we obviously have, so this is a thread cutter. This is, oopsie. These are little needles in a, what is this thing called? A bally ball. And this is for your finger, I assume. I'm pretty sure this is for your finger. I'm pretty sure. I don't know. It could be. I think. So I'm going to have to check what this is and what this is. I think this might be to get your threads, to choose your threads. A thread splitter. I think maybe that's what it could be. So we're going to have to check on that one and that one. I'm pretty sure those are, yeah. So we know what these are and we know the basics of the cross stitch. Okay, so this is obviously a thread picker. And again, you have needles here. So I mean, I think these are the same. Let's have a looky look. They look pretty much the same. Yeah, same thing. So you've got quite a few needles there. Don't lose them though, obviously, because that's dangerous. Okay, so I'm going to have a look quickly at what this is and what this is, and I'm going to get back to you in 1 second. Okay, so I did some researching. This is for your finger. I think it's supposed to go lower down, to be honest. So it's obviously to stop your finger getting agitated with the needle. And this, believe it or not, is a needle threader. So we're going to do a couple stitches just to have a look at how it works. Obviously not going to do the whole thing with you, but let's have a look and see how it works. So we're going to start where we should start, which is at number 1. I think we'll start on this little guy. So what is nice about this is that the edges have already been sort of treated, if you will. So remember, cross-stitching material can fray if it is not sort of treated or stitched. This, it looks like it has been burnt. Well, it doesn't look like it's been burnt. I think it might be a glue, actually. But there is definitely something that is keeping it sort of together where it's not going to fray, if you will. Okay, so I have my cross stitch here. So it says that we are using 3 strands. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this off. Okay. And I'm just going to take one of these. Okay. And we're going to put this back so that we don't lose our colors or yeah, there we are, so that we know what we're doing going forward. So it's important, obviously, with something like this to stay organized, because if you take all of these strands out, I mean, you could, I've seen some sort of, what do you call them, bobbins, if you will, where they've got the numbers written on them. You could do that. I'm not going to do that. Okay, so the first thing we have to do is we're going to have to separate our strands. So if you're like me that doesn't have very good eyesight, so you're going to separate one strand at a time. Okay, wait, yeah. So why are we doing one at a time is we don't really want it to get we don't want it to get tangled. And doing more than one at a time, there's the possibility of us tangling, knotting, if you will. So I think this might be the most time-consuming part of it all, is separating your strands, possibly. There must be an easier way. I can see some cross-stitch people's cringing at how I'm doing it. Again, please remember that I'm no expert at this. But I think that's the point, is that I want to show you that even if you haven't done these things before, it's not too intimidating. Okay, so I have a slight amount of background with it, slight, like super slight, but it's not a lot. So it did say to try and keep it, I think it said 18, I don't know if it was inches or centimeters, just to make it easier and stop the possibility of, what do you call it, knotting while you're working. So I think we might do half just to start, and we'll see how we go from there. So I'm cutting it in half. Where do I have to put it? Oopsie. Now it's in there. Oh no. Who would have thought I wouldn't be able to use a thread snipper? Okay, we're using scissors. Who would have thought? Okay, and some people might prefer to not snip theirs, but I am going to. That's just my personal preference, just what I want to do. It's just going to be easier for me to separate these threads. So I need 3 of those strands. Okay, 1, 2, 3 strands. And we're just going to snip this straight. Oopsie. Maybe that's where the thread snipper comes in handy. Okay, we're gonna try and use this even though I have no clue what I'm doing. So the way I understand it, you thread it through there. Again, could be completely wrong. Also, if you do this, like, I'd love for you to tell me if I'm doing it correctly, because it's been years. Okay, so obviously this type of needle threader is only going to work with the bigger ones. So the way I understand it is maybe we put this first. And then that, so that we can pull it through. It doesn't, oh, there we are. Ha ha! Ha! I see now. Yes, see. Okay, so I think we're starting from the bottom. Yes, I think. I don't know, actually. Okay, so let's start. So we will be doing it on this little one, on his little wings. So obviously we have to start here, I think. I actually don't know, to be honest. I don't know what I'm doing. But this is fun. Okay, so you're gonna push it through, pull. No, so we do have to start from the bottom. Okay, we do have to start from the bottom. Okay, yeah. Okay, so we're going to leave a little tail at the back. And we're going to, so, I mean, obviously cross stitch. So we're going to go there. And we're going to go through again. Okay, so what you want to do is you want to make sure that your tail stays, okay? And then we got to go one up. There, I think. Is that correct? Let's just see. I mean, we can always pull it out if it's not correct. And we go there. Okay, and what we're gonna want to, oopsie, what we're gonna want to do here is we actually want to pull this thread under. So I've missed one, unfortunately. So let's just see, yep. Okay, and then we're going to, so I just have to check. We're going to go the one above it, I think. Let's see if it's that one. It is too. Okay, so what we're going to do when we come back down, okay, is we're actually going to grab our back piece. Okay, there we are. Oops, don't pull too hard. We don't want that to come out. Okay, now we need to go back. So have I done it correctly? I have. 1, 2, 3. Wow. Okay, so now we need to go back on ourselves and we need to catch this stitch while we do it. So we're going to pull it under like so, making sure not to get our little, so we're going to pull that like that. Okay. And now we're going to go back. So let's see if I'm on the right spot. I am. Okay, and we want to make sure that we've got our stitch caught. As you can see there, I've caught my stitch. Okay. And then we're going to go in here, pull through. Make sure we're not caught on anything. Huh, that's looking cute. So the only thing I'm not 100% sure on is, am I supposed to be doubling up on my stitch? So right now I've got 3 strands, but it's single. So I'm going to find out for you if I'm supposed to be doubling up on that. It does look pretty cool like this though. I think it looks super cool. Oh, it's gonna be so pretty. And you can see at the back, I'm catching my piece with the strands that I'm putting back. Okay, so there are 2 different ways that you can do it. So you can see I did mine in a row upwards and then I came back down. Okay, so there we are. We have one. Is it completed? Hey, we have 1 stitch completed. That's super cute. Okay, so now we're going to thread our needle back underneath because we're finishing off the stitch. So we're going to thread it back underneath like so. Oopsie. Okay, pull. And we're going to snip that. So when you snip it, you do want to leave a little bit at the end. You don't want to, oopsie, let's get rid of all of this. Let's see if my little snippies is working. Why? Who would have thought I wouldn't know how to use scissors? So you don't want to snip it too short because you don't want it to come through. I did snip that kind of short. But that's fine. So let's have a look. Can you see that? Let's see. Where's it? There. How cute is that? That's cute. Okay, so there is 2 different ways you can do it. You can do it the way I did it, which is a line, or you can finish each complete square before moving on to the next square. That's completely up to you. Okay, so you've got the basics of cross stitch. I'm going to have loads of fun doing this because this is cool. I do just want to double check if I should be doing a double thread or a single thread. I will let you know on that though. Okay, so I have had a look for you, and the way that it's done is correct. It's only a single thread, so basically you only want a single tail at the back. You don't want it to have a double tail. So where with sewing you would have a double tail. Oopsie, we're gonna knot this. Oh no. Okay, so with sewing you would have it like this, where it's equal lengths and it has a double tail. With your cross stitch you're gonna have a single tail like so. So when you pull it through, this will stay behind and this will be your cross stitch basically. It actually goes the opposite way. This will be the part that will be your cross stitch and this will stay behind. So you're going to pull this all the way to sort of the end, and then you're obviously going to do it like that. So with your cross stitch you don't want to pull it too tight. You obviously don't want your material sort of doing that. Okay, so what I'm going to do is, obviously I'm going to be working on one color at a time if possible. So with here I've already got, so we're going to use this piece to test our punch needle. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we're going to put the other half of our piece back onto here. So we actually double it up. And I'm just going to put it onto the side so that I know I'm working with it. Just simple like that. Okay, So I know I'm working with that piece, and I can put this aside. Okay, so I'm definitely going to finish this, not now, obviously. So just to run over the basics again, let me just show you another piece just so that you can see what I mean. This one I obviously did half stitch, half stitch, half stitch, and then I came back and I did the double stitch. So for this one, we'll do double stitch, double stitch, double stitch, which is also an option. So one thing you shouldn't do is move basically from here across to here, because then you're going to have a strand running across where you have another color that needs to go. So you're going to do it in sections. So here you would do 2 and you would cut it and then start again, do 2, cut it, start again, and do this whole section here basically. So you don't want to jump across sections. It's better to just restart. So let's just quickly do one more just so that we can get a feel for it again. Okay, so we'll do this one. So we're going to insert our needle. Sorry, we got to do it from the back. Okay, so we're going to insert our needle. We got to find it. This, I think, is the most difficult part. There we are. We got it. Okay. So we want to pull this through. And we're going to leave our little tail at the back. It doesn't need to be too big. So you can hold that tail with your finger. Okay, and you're going to go across at the top. So I will look for a little picture just to show you how you're supposed to do the stitch. Okay, you're going to pull that through. We're then going to move that up. And we're going to go down. Okay, so we're going down like so. Okay. And then we're going to go up back to the corner. So there we've done a complete stitch. Okay. We now want this to sort of be in the middle. And we want to be able to catch it, if that makes sense. So we're going to go back. Where are we? There. Okay, so we're going to go back here so we can start again. Is that the right one? That's not the right one. We're starting again. Yeah. Should we go back there? And here you'll see that I'm catching my stitch, my tail, basically. Okay. And we go up in the corner. Like so. Pull through. And you will obviously get quicker at this as you go. You just have to get more comfortable. Go across. Where are we? There we are. Oopsie. And down in the corner again. Are we? Yep, down in the corner. So we're making crisscross patterns. I mean cross stitch, crisscross. Aha. Anyway, moving on. Okay, and then we're going back up because now we want to go here. So I do like the line one that I did. It does seem to be a lot neater. But again, this is completely up to you. It just, yeah, it does seem a lot neater, to be honest. Okay, oopsie, we got our tail. Okay, we're in the top corner. Go, no, we want to go in the other corner, so we're going there. Okay. And then top corner. Like so. There we are. And there you have it. So that's how you would do it. And then to end off, you're going to thread through again to tie it off. like so, and then you're going to snip and you're good to go. So super simple. So the reason you don't knot your thread is that you obviously don't want to create bubbles in the back of your cross stitch. So can we see here, you can see this one, it does actually look a lot more untidy than this one. This one looks a lot neater, so I think I'm going to stick to this method for me personally. Obviously that's completely up to you. So if you do make a mistake, that is where your little picker comes in, and you will then obviously, so let's just make sure we're picking the right one, because this is the one I'm not entirely happy with. So we can just pull our thread out, and we can pull our bottom thread out, and then we can just pick it out basically. Okay, let's back to the back. Get rid of that. And there we are. Now we can do that one the way I prefer to do it, which is lines. So we're going to do lines and then come back. Okay, so we've got that. So now let's have a look at our punch needle. That's super exciting. Okay, so for this one, I do require my bigger scissors, which have literally just grown some legs and walked away. Okay, so we're going to try with our little scissors, painfully. Okay, so this is a punch needle, and punch needles are one of the oldest forms of embroidery. You actually get, it's like a big punch needle, and that is for carpets. So those sort of woolly carpets that you see people making, there's a lot of TikTok and YouTube videos and all of that. Those are actually like punch needles. So everything that I've read says a punch needle is basically better for, is better for, like, what do you call it, wool. So obviously thicker threads. So I do actually want to do a whole video on punch needle. I want to try and do it with wool. I didn't have time to get my hands on some wool, so we're just going to stick all of this in our container just to keep it safe. Well, let's have a look at it first. I have some dirties on my fingers, so we're going to put all of our little bits and bobs into here so we don't lose them. And what you can do if you do want to keep them separated is just keep them in your little thing so you know what's what. Okay, so here we have our little, okay, so these are called threaders. Those are threaders. We're going to keep them in there because they're very teeny tiny, very delicate. Okay, so wow, there is a lot of instructions here. Okay, so threading the needle, I'm going to show you how to do that. I already know how to do that. Your punching technique. Okay, so punch needle should penetrate all the way into the fabric so the grip of the needle touches the fabric. The needle must be pushed all the way in on each stitch to make an even look. Lift needle out of the fabric just enough to move to next stitch. Keep the needle as close to the material as possible. Lifting the needle too high shortens the loop on the front of the design and creates unwanted loops on the back. Okay, so punch needle is going to give you a loop on the front. I'm going to get a picture that I can show you. It is quite an interesting look. So will it work specifically for these cross stitches? I'm not sure, but could you use it on a cross stitch fabric? We're going to test that. Okay, so how to exchange the needle. You're going to remove the cap, loosen the screw and take the needle out. Release the needle from joint and change to the desired needle. Okay, so I don't know which needle we would need for such a small fabric, so I'm going by R. There is unfortunately nothing that I can see, so this looks, I mean, they kind of all look the same. Nope, this one's the smallest. Okay, so this is our smallest one. Okay, this is our smallest one, this is our thickest one. So if you're doing wool, that would be it. If you were doing something like what we're going to be doing, I think we'd use this one. So we're going to unscrew the cap. And we got to take the needle out, I think. Is that what it said? I'm going to land up stabbing myself today. Okay, so we got to... okay, there we are. That's how we do it. So here we take the needle off. Oh my goodness, I'm so nervous. So you turn it. That's how you do it. You turn it. Okay, so we're going to put that in there like that. And then we're going to put this in. Okay, so we're going to try it with our second needle, see if we get a better result, because that one just, that was not good. Okay, so we're going to thread our needle now. So this is, let's close all of our little thingies. Okay, so this is our needle threader. So you've got two here, I think. Yes, have you? Or have you got one? Oh, there's another one in the box. Okay, so there we are. So this is going to go in here. Or is it the other way around? Or does it go here? I think it goes this way. It goes that way. Okay, so we thread it in the top. And then we're going to take our yarn. We're going to open the eye of the needle, or the threader, the eye of the threader. Okay. Okay, so with this, what I'm understanding is that you're going to work from the back of your fabric and not the front. So here we want to pull this through, so I'm pulling from the back. Pulling, 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 pulling. Okay, I've got something stuck on the front. And you're going to want just a small piece of thread in the front. You're going to fold this in half. Okay. So let's remove that. Let's see if this is going to work. So we need to now thread this through the little eye of the needle here at the back. So we would have to do this the opposite way. So you can see I've never done this before. So there was one time at the beach where this guy came and he was trying to sell us one of these, and I was like, that is the coolest thing ever. Okay, it wasn't this, it was like a little homemade kind of one that they obviously would have used many years ago. And I bought it and I didn't know what I was doing with it then, so I'm not surprised that I don't know now, to be honest. Okay, so we're putting this through here. Oopsie, we need both. Okay, there we are. You could just use a little normal needle threader thingy, the one that you get with sewing. It probably would be easier than trying to maneuver this, which is a lot bigger, obviously. Again, open, put it in, pull it up, and I'm going to pull that through. There we are. Okay, so we've done that. Let's put our little threader back. Let's put our needles back. Okay, now comes, so I'm going to do this on the back end, on the top, just to see if we can do it. So we want a little thread. So we would be doing, it needs to be the length of the needle basically, and we would be doing this. So we're going to punch it in. Okay, we're going to pull it out and go to the next one. Punch it in, pull it out, go to the next one. Punch it in, pull it out, and go to the next one. And this is what we're going to do. How easy is this? Okay, so let's have a look at what it looks like. Oopsie, I just pulled some through. Gosh. So now on the back, you can see I'm making a bit of a mess. So let's go to the next side. Oops, we just pushed our needle in. Okay, so on the front, you can see that it makes little loops, and this is how the pattern is formed. So it creates these little loops, and then you're obviously going to do different patterns that's going to give you those loops. So I am absolutely wrecking this poor thing, but I don't think that this is great for cross stitch, and the reason for that is that it gives you a very different pattern. So I'm going to put it on the screen what you should be using punch needle for. It gives you, as you can see, a very different sort of pattern. I love it. I love it for wool, and I think I'm definitely going to try it. I also think that the material you use needs to be very different. This is a very thick, very rough material, and the holes are very small compared to the needles. So I don't think that it's a good thing to interchange, but I think punch needle has its own, strengths, and it is a completely different art all on its own. Does that mean that you definitely can't use it for cross stitch? No, it doesn't mean that. There are some people that will like the effect that it gives, and that will make it work with it. So my needle's just gone completely in. I think I was putting too much pressure. Yeah. So I will have a look at this, and we will definitely do something with punch needle in the future, but I think with wool, because everything I've seen has been with wool and it looks amazing. I do think they're both very awesome crafts, very relaxing, and not hard at all. So if you want something that is quite easy to do, you want to relax, then I would definitely recommend either of them. They are super cool. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching. I hope that I've helped to highlight the main differences between cross stitch and needle punch. They are very different, like I've said, but They are both amazing, and I'm definitely going to do a lot more in the future. I am going to finish this, and I am going to keep you updated on the progress, so keep an eye on the Craft Buddies page. I will definitely post there once I'm done with it. I don't know how long it's going to take me, but hopefully it's not going to take too long. Thank you so much for watching, and I can't wait to see you again.